I can share mine if I have it up.
All right, I'll share the screen again. You got it already.
For those who might be watching this, I'm just recording this because I am going through the process of potentially joining the SEEDS Collaboratory DAO, and anyone else who's going through that process might find this helpful to get some context and ask the same questions I'm about to ask. Okay, so I see some people in here with the Circle Council. Can we make one up, or does it have to be one of the existing ones?
It has to be one of the existing 6 already agreed to structures. So if you look up at the top there, somebody who's going to be admitted in this enrolling process is agreeing to the Bootstrap Nucleus Participation Agreement. And that agreement says that you will agree to honor the already created structure proposals that have been adopted, which include the 6 things, the structure. There it is.
Circles and councils. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question because where I'm focused is 1, fatherhood, 2, dealing with my own developmental trauma so I don't pass them on to my son. And that is taking up a lot of my time. So my creative time in the, the SEEDS Renaissance world is focused on regen civics, land-based projects, and bioregional economies. That's the next step. I would like to go in physical communities on the ground, holding space, growing gardens, and building a Renaissance. So where do you think that would best fit? It is part economics. It is part governance. It is part deployment because this is deploying all of our tools on the ground into bioregions.
I think it's mostly deployment, but you're right. Each human being has skills and insights that are relevant for all 6 of these councils. Yeah, all 3 councils and all 3 circles. Everybody is going to be called to one more than another. And if you go back to that policy draft that we're working on, you'll notice it. On the right-hand side, the participation agreement is just an affirmation, yes or no. Yahim put down when he said yes or no, he decided to indicate that the amount of participation that he felt like that was a useful thing to say. He agrees to it, but he's only going to really be 5 to 10%. We did not want to make that an agreement, a requirement, because we don't have roles and archetypes yet. We don't have assignments. That's when it becomes an explicit. Everything that person is saying here is not explicit as part of agreements. It's them affirming what they currently think they will want to do if they're inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I love that. Okay, so I think that it probably is mostly the deployment circle. So I will say that. I will get down in here and say, could you explain a little bit more what it would mean to be in any of these circles?
Okay, so when you're done typing and doing stuff, I'll share my screen to help answer that. But oh, okay, I'll do it right now. All right. So in the evolution of the in the creation phase of the SEEDS Collaboratory, this document was a working document to help us kind of know what we were trying to do. This was before the DAO software was even working, kind of. And so this document here said this is going to be the roadmap to create the Collaboratory. And then the Collaboratory DAO was actually created on the blockchain on November 23rd, 2022. We ran into a variety of software bugs in the tools, and then they were fixed and stuff. So things took time, as you would guess. And this is where we said the first 3 members are going to be these 3. All right, so that's the beginning of the roadmap. And then we have these numbers. So what's the stuff that we're doing? And so the numbers are kind of in somewhat chronological order. We put in, so this is the proposal that we already saw was the very first proposal created. Then we did our purpose. Then we did our membership. Then we did our structure. Then we enrolled some more members. Then we did our strategy. Then we did our governance. Then we did our compensation. And then we got to this one. Anilo said, you know what? I'm a member now, and I think that we can make version 0.2 of the structure document. I think that, and she was particularly interested in changing the wording, even though it's a short wording, of the governance circle. And so the 9 people in the SEEDS Collaboratory wound up with 3 different versions of the wording of the governance circle to work towards a version 0.2, and they could never come to agreement. So this has been postponed right now, and we skipped to doing number 9, which is an update to the earlier one, and we'll come back to it at some point. And then we're on number 10 now, enrolling additional members. That's what we're on right now. But what kind of comes next? And so you can see this one is expanded way beyond what this original thing was. But what comes next is structure formation proposals for councils and circles. And so I'm going to give you show you an example here. I think I actually have it on the screen here. Yep. So the deployment circle already got together people that wanted to be in the deployment circle. And these 4 people, Kate, Danny, Alexander, and Alex, wrote and agreed to this document that said, what is the deployment circle all about? And it's way more detailed than the 1-sentence one that's in the structure definition. And they talk about their accountabilities and what they're going to be doing. And this is what they think that the deployment circle is going to start off with as the way that it operates. So this is really nice that the deployment circle has written down what they believe they're going to be holding space for, what their purpose is. And so if we come back over here, I think that all 3 circles and all 3 councils need a kind of a document like this. It says this is how we intend to work, because circles and councils are about work, and the whole nucleus is about work. And so I kind of think, hey, before we go much further, let's get the structure proposals in place. And this is an example. I also think that I'm using the word I, but it's really we, because this is evolved a lot. It's just that I wrote this original layout here. But this has evolved a lot. And so the next one I said, there's got to be an operational rhythm kind of agreed to. And it may or may not be part of the deployment, the actual circle documents. And so this rhythm is going to include Zooms and Discord and how information is shared and all this stuff. And so each circle and each council and that stuff now needs to take the time to describe its operational rhythm. And things like auto recording Zoom meetings and transferring them into Vimeo and then auto posting them into Discord and having, Discord administration, all that stuff needs to be figured out, and so that's work. And that needs to be done. And if it can be done sooner, it's better than not doing it. And then the next 6 Canvas proposals need to happen so that we can kind of complete the whole palette. I will mention that in if we come back over here, that if we look at, like, for instance, the purpose proposal, oops. That was the very first one. The purpose proposal said at the bottom, it had an attached document. I didn't mention that, and it's really important. So the purpose proposal said in really short words what the purpose is, but it also said down below, during 2022, a whole ton of time, a lot of work was done by the DAO Activation Working Group to serving the role of the community to explore the 12 topics of the activation canvas. Everyone was invited to participate, and many people came to lots of Zoom meetings to explore these things. The attached document is the summary of that sense-making exploration, and it was dated October 19th. And so we added it to recorded in the blockchain. It's on IPFS as a blob. And this is what that group sense-making came up with. Now, this is not short. And it has a lot of various characteristics that maybe are more ethereal than a very explicit agreement, but it sets the intention for what that group of people during that time really felt was the purpose of the Collaboratory DAO, looking both interior to the nucleus and out towards the donut. And so they actually have, for all 12 of those topics, they have such documents. And so that forms kind of a basis by which these remaining 6 can be done. They're not starting from scratch. We have the document exploration that was done by a broad spectrum of the SEEDS ecosystem over like a 6-month period of time. Those that were in the commons, those that weren't in the commons, all kinds of stuff. So the hope is that these proposals can be put up pretty soon, maybe this week. And that the larger group of people, after we admit these, can vote on them, or maybe they can even be voted on with the existing 9, depending upon the sequencing of it, so that we have them. I put these 6 after these other things because I didn't think that these were actually required to do what we're doing right now, but they are really beneficial for going forward as we mature into where we're going. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the roadmap is. And then after that, the Bootstrap roadmap's kind of done, and it shifts into, for instance, economic circle roadmap and deployment circle roadmap and governance circle roadmap and governance circle and the councils. And so then we're no longer in Bootstrap. We are now in operations, and maybe we'll have 30 people by then, or 50 people, or maybe we'll still be only 25 or 10 people. No, we'll be at least like 20 or 30 people. But then it grows from there. It's no longer a bootstrap that's kind of coordinated. It gets to grow more organically by the governance that's agreed to in the nucleus of the DAO.
Ooh. Yeah, fantastic. I love it. And I think that's my signal. I don't know if you can hear him.
All right. So you can, we'll stop here.
Yeah, anything else you want to share before we?
I really do think that it feels like we're getting like a month of you know, energy and things being accomplished in like, you know, a day every day. There's just so much going on, and I really see the whole ecosystem of DAOs, with the SEEDS Collaboratory DAO being in the anchor DAO within this whole ecosystem of DAOs, beginning to find its visibility. You know, it's not about the SEEDS Collaboratory, you know, saying like, hey, we run the SEEDS ecosystem. The entire purpose of this is all of the DAOs doing the actual impact work that we want to see in communities, in regenerative, you know, relationship with, you know, nature and everything there. You know, if we have this great anchor DAO and nothing actually happens on the ground to plant trees and feed people and care for, you know, the world, then we built a structure that didn't get populated, that didn't actually create impact. So I'm super excited for all of these land-based projects, some projects, and I'm super excited for there to be, you know, like, you know, initially just a few templates, but over time there'll be like 20 different kinds of you know, projects that you know, we have templates for. We have, you know, recommended best practices on how you start. This is how you guys as a DAO can do your treasury. This is what maybe would be a good tokenomics model to support your purpose. And then people can start with that template and that framework and follow the path of all the that had come before them. So like, if there's a DAO that does a super great job of cleaning up beaches in Indonesia, then a DAO working on cleaning up beaches in Hawaii that wants to get started has a pretty good, you know, head start.
Yes, exactly. I love everything you've been holding space for. Beautiful, beautiful share. Thank you for that. There's a lot of information in a little time. I love it. So deep gratitude and love for all the ways you're showing up, Mark. You're fantastic.
Well, thank you. I am super excited that you live so close and that we're going to get to see each other more often. And I'm sorry I'm not going to get to see you when other people are going to be visiting next in the next couple of weeks. But super glad that our orbits are close physically.
Couldn't agree more. Love you, brother.
Love you too. See you later.
Thanks. Yes. Cheers.
Bye.